All right, welcome, Hoagie Time. It's great to be back this week. We got the Eagles game on tonight in the background, so we'll be watching with you guys.
Yeah. So if you see the faraway stairs on YouTube, or if you're just listening in your car and hear the conversations just continue to drag off, that's why.
Yes.
Watching the game, too. Everything was good, man. You had a good weekend?
Yeah,
good
great weekend. Or? Yes. Yeah, really good weekend. I think Saturday I had 2 gigs, and very good, very good. I was going to go watch that fight, and I never did, with a couple buddies, that Triple G, Canelo. I heard it was a real snooze fest anyway, so I'm glad I didn't. And then I was at Gypsy Saloon on Sunday, and our producer, HT, and his lovely wife came and visited. And
HT and his bride?
His bride came, yeah.
And what you said was 100% true. We got there at 11:15. You're just playing, just having a good time. We ordered chicken and waffles and the Gypsy burger, and it was
delicious,
awesome.
Yeah,
it was so good.
It's a little hidden gem.
And then we saw the tower that you were talking about last week.
Yeah,
she put 2 bottles of champagne or whatever it was in there, and then like maybe a teaspoon of orange juice, just like to give it some color.
Yeah,
it was like wow,
so many bottles being popped.
If it was on this,
gigs.
if it was this bar, it would be to the.
It wouldn't even fit in this bar. Yeah. So we have to redo the bar, I guess.
So that was cool. How was the Barnaby's reunion?
It was great.
Yeah, I wasn't
Happy
a reunion. It was
the anniversary. Yeah, 25th anniversary. A couple of their locations. I think Aston, Westchester, and Havertown.
They're the only 3 left, right? There used to be Ridley.
I guess so.
Now it's Aston, Westchester.
So to me, I'm like, but only 3 locations.
Yes.
Like there's 5 or 6. There's not.
I think there was at the most maybe 4 or 5. But then Ridley went the way of the dinosaur.
Yeah.
But so it was
once the last stand shut down, everyone just packed up and left.
Yeah. Ridley's just a ghost town now.
They're like, there's nowhere else I'm going to get my hot dog at.
The last
Let's just
stand
uproot
was
our
awesome.
entire community and just look for hot dogs elsewhere.
Have you ever, I mean, obviously you've been to the last stand. Have you ever noticed the chicks that work there were the hottest chicks in the world? They always had the hottest girls working at the last stand.
I don't remember. I went there once or twice, and I went there once or twice because it wasn't bad, but it was just hot dogs. I didn't get it. It wasn't worth the destination to me. It was not bad.
I guess
not
it's like
if
you're not stuffed, or maybe if you just ate or something, it's a quick meal. Like sometimes you're not. I know myself. Like I don't need a hearty meal all the time.
See,
maybe a hot dog just to kind of have the taste. But yeah, those hot dogs were deadly. So that was so Sunday. That was that, and
yeah. So yeah, Barnaby's was great. Rob Carroll played with me for a few hours. There was lots of people that traveled long distances to be there. Hippies that follow us, follow me specifically.
Yes.
There was a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we played a lot of cool stuff, if I should say so myself.
Yeah.
And it was a great time.
Right. So are you going to miss it? I mean, Barnaby's was your spot for the last couple of months.
Yeah.
So
I love playing Barnaby's. So I used to do Tuesday nights year round, but that stopped with COVID, and they redid inside and put some cool new booths up by the big TVs. I don't even know where I would play inside. But shout out Barnaby's. Love Barnaby's.
Yeah. Well,
anytime they need me, I'm there.
Yeah, the fans they'll catch you elsewhere in this fall.
Yeah, I've got some. If you want to catch me this week while we're on the subject, I'm at the Crossbar in Havertown for the first time ever.
A lot of Irish there.
They rip through Guinness.
Yeah.
They sell the most Guinness around.
Really?
Yeah, really. But yeah, I'm there Friday from 6 to 9. Saturday I have a private, and my policy on that. I'm not going to say another thing about it.
I got you, pal. Yeah, I got one of them too this weekend. But I'm also back at the Trophy on Thursday. People know what time I start, and I don't want to get in too much trouble, so I'll just say that I'm there. I'll be there at some point on Thursday night, and then Sunday I'll be at Tavola again. I guess the Eagles do play. Yeah, so it'll be after the game, 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So looking forward to that.
They'll have you during the game?
Never. No, it will be after the game.
Okay.
Yeah, so they've actually moved the times around to where I'll never be playing. I would never play during the game, no. Even Thursdays when the Eagles would play on Thursdays and I'd be at the Trophy, they would just cancel.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck
You don't want to play over the game.
Oh, my God.
Even playing after the game is weird because if they don't win.
It can be. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
If they don't win, then it's weird.
Yeah, for years I had a gig that was constantly after the Eagles, and it was just, if they lost, it was, you might as well, everyone was mad. Not only were people mad, but they lost their bets. So financially they were hurt. And so it was like, oh my God.
What Eagles era was this?
This was...
If it was the Mike McMahon era, you were playing to a lot of pissed off rooms.
This was actually like Super Bowl-ish, 2018. So that run was cool. But Yeah, it was the worst gig in the world if the Eagles lost and you had to play afterwards. What could you possibly sing that make everybody forget?
Nothing.
That their life just ended because the Eagles lost.
Nothing.
So, yeah.
Not to mention you more than likely had a little action on the game and, maybe.
By Sunday night would be pure desperation mode. Like, nothing's fun. There's one game left at 8 o'clock and everything like that you have. Like, it's not even like you're going to win money. You're just trying to get back all that money you lost just to be at zero, and it just never worked out.
Everyone loves it when the guitarist is choking back tears, staring at the TV mid-song.
Oh, my
completely
God.
invested in the
game. I need
game.
to apologize for 10 years of behavior that was just so, like, against the music, the gods of music. I should have definitely just quit. So
No, Mike.
I know. I would never quit.
You were the shining light for so many.
For so many years,
through tough times.
Yeah.
In this barren landscape of Delaware County.
Yeah. So.
Yes, we got the Eagles home opener tonight. Ton of people were down there tailgating.
Yeah, a ton of people down there. It's such a big party down there.
Yeah, always a big party. LeCompte was set up.
Really?
LeCompte Band was set up in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Like full-on stage setup, taking up like 5 parking spots.
Wow.
And I just saw a post on Facebook, and Ken Queter, the legend, sat in with them tonight. Yeah.
Wow.
For at least a song. There was no video of it. But I mean, those guys have seen it all.
Yeah, and that's such a dangerous like the parking lot of an Eagles game on a Monday Night Football. Like God bless them if they don't have security.
Yeah,
but I mean, LeCompte can really get
We've been seeing them forever. Going. We've been seeing them since way back in Thug Folk. It was like Wednesday nights at RP's.
Yes,
I think it was like dollar beers, and I think they were there every week.
They were there every Sunday back then.
Okay.
And the first like gig I went to in high school, where like a cover band kind of gig, I went with my Uncle Reds and my dad, and I saw LeCompte at the Rio Grande station, like right outside of fucking like Wildwood. Yeah. And I had to be like a sophomore or junior in high school, and they were just awesome, man. Hanging with Buddy Cash in the back, like, because he knew my uncle. And it was just awesome, man. Those cover bands back then were just, seeing that as like a high school kid was like, yeah, man, this is what nightlife's all about.
The music back then was so good, and I don't think we realized it. And I remember being in like high school thinking like, oh, this music's all right, but the only stuff that matters is Led Zeppelin, CCR, Steve Miller, whatever. But at that time, there was great music being released constantly that at the time I didn't realize that years later I would go back and listen to it. Right. But I still do. And I remember thinking like we just didn't really appreciate all the hits, all the great bands, all the music that was being released at that time.
To that point, I was just thinking the other day, I'm like, we had Y100, and Y100 was an awesome outlet to that kind of music, the 90s music. Like now there's 104.5, and it's so streamlined and like almost like corporate. Like they have to play this, and then their breaks here. And maybe Y100 was to a degree, but they still had like the Y100 festivals and all that stuff, and they had like a acoustic show where they would kind of have a live band in. And you're right, so many people don't get past the whole like Led Zeppelin and like the classic rock and all that. But there was, Cake, Eve 6, and like stuff, bands that you didn't even know you loved.
Like Better Than Ezra, dude.
Better Than Ezra.
Great example. I was going through my music library on my computer, which is an antiquated term because now you just stream it and you have everything that you didn't have to collect. But my music library that I digitized from CD, I was revisiting some stuff that I used to listen to, like Fastball. Yeah. Like not even the Way album, the second album. I forget what it's called, and I even forget the big song on it.
Real melodic.
Super
such
melodic.
A melodic, cool voice.
It reminded me of like Fountains of Wayne, like Stacy's Mom type catchiness. Yeah. But I listened to the album front to back, and I was like, even this shit was awesome.
A song just like the same era, Walk on the Ocean. I heard that the other day. I'm like, wow, like it was like
Toad Sprocket.
Toad of the Wet Sprocket. Yeah. I'm like a band that I would never kind of think of, like that again, until I heard the song. I'm like, wow, this would be like the biggest hit today. Yeah. And not to sound like, an old, like in my day, things were better, but things are relative. Like young people, older people always say like, oh, it's not as good today. But I think there's truth to it. There's not the outlet that there is. I mean, you really, like we said last week, everything's so streamlined. So there isn't that like, library of like music that you can call like that's popular music today. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
and And unless you're listening to like Sirius satellite radio, but like mainstream radio is not even like compartmentalized enough.
Right.
Because it's like you have the new stuff, and that could be Ariana Grande, or that could be, I'm going to pretend like I know who's who, but Kendrick Lamar.
Right.
And that's not necessarily the same genre at all. But it's just new, and it all kind of sounds the same. It has that same dance beat.
To that point, like it's kind of funny, like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, who makes it anymore? Because it's not like at 2000 or whatever. I mean, there was probably the last band that you knew was like, the Killers and obviously the Foo Fighters, but what's rock and roll anymore? So who gets in? The Taylor Swift gets in. I mean, she would have to. She's the hits. Does Rihanna? Does Beyonce? Like, because the music's changed. Like, it's not as clear anymore what that is. I don't know who makes the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame after like the Killers and the Foo Fighters.
There's
Coldplay, maybe.
Of course, there's always good music if you search for it, but it can be hard for most people without going on a wild goose chase to find it.
Yes.
So my neighbor Aiden, shout out Aiden Sirac, shout out Full Velocity Band too.
Is he in a band?
Yeah, Full Velocity Band. Hell yeah.
I love
it. But they play and they're awesome, but there's no new music that they can really do that like has guitar.
Exactly.
So they do great stuff. Like they'll do Metallica, they'll do Nirvana.
Yeah.
But there's really it's all kind of to them classic rock oriented because there's really nothing new.
I saw a cover
to pick up on.
I saw a cover band this summer at Wild West Bar in Atlantic City. I guess Bailey's Wild West Bar, and the cover band played every same song that the cover band that I was in or other cover bands played in 2004. Same like Blink 182, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, all these kids are like, there's such a 20-year gap where that's what they go out and they think that's the songs they want to hear. Like
Sirius XM calls it now the second generation of classic rock. That's what they're calling it now.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean,
that's interesting.
Stuff in the 90s.
So
that's cool. Yeah, I buy
talk
that.
about 1983 Metallica, Guns N' Roses up until probably 2000 now.
Right.
That's what Sirius is calling it, the second generation of classic rock and roll. Now you go to the Spectrum or something on Sirius. I think that's where you have Earl Bailey.
Shout out Earl Bailey.
Yeah. Good old 93.3 guy from years ago. But he still plays just, I guess, the first generation.
Of like,
the 60s, 70s.
Talking about love or Bad Company, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which
I feel like making love.
As musicians, we got
So
we
WT.
respect it, but like it's just so over, like, it was so overplayed. Like Led Zeppelin, obviously,
just grease monkey tunes.
Just
working on your car music.
Yeah, and like for people to like just still like not want to graduate from that, but that's kind of I would agree with that the second generation classic rock would be your Pearl Jam and all that.
I mean, not many college kids are trying to hang out with me these days. I can't tell you the last time that happened, but I think they listen to shit like Blink 182. And to them, that's kind of like their like Van Halen.
Well,
and they jump around and dance to it.
They do. Like
young kids, hit us up at Hoagietimepodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what things are like.
Yeah, let us know. I know that they are listening, like Post Malone and that kind of stuff. So it's like a different kind of. But when you go out to see a cover band, which they don't as much anymore, like there's not those big warehouse type bars where they're like, all right, let's put a band in here, let's charge $2 beers and $5 cover and just pack this place. Now it's all like the whole nightlife kind of thing is being outdoors, having one or two guys play in the corner and like just don't suck. Things aren't based around live music anymore.
Yeah.
That's why
bands don't make her dance.
That's why I love Dewey Beach, because it's one of the last towns left that is geared around live music. Every weekend day at noon, there's a horn that like, and everybody from the beach knows to leave and then go see the bands that start at like 12:30. Yeah.
I've been to Dewey a couple times, and I did the first time I was there. I don't think, I was well into my 20s, and I was like, why am I just learning about this now?
Yep.
It was so fun.
I was going to say
bands
the same
all the
thing.
time.
Yeah.
I like running into people down the shore. Don't get the wrong idea.
Yeah.
But it's nice to just be somewhere and not, run into your whole graduating high school class.
Exactly.
Constantly.
Yeah. Like the Jersey Shore became McDade Boulevard with sand.
Yeah.
After a certain amount of time, but Dewey, it was like, okay, you still had a chance to see a couple people, but it was far. And who are these people? And everybody was so friendly.
Yeah.
Like it was just a really cool kind of experience down there. Which same thing when I was playing there about 4 or 5 years ago. I'm like, why is this the beginning? Like this is the funnest I've had down the shore. I wish I went there as a kid.
Yeah, because
if we ever have LeCompte on, we have to ask him.
Well, Mike on, definitely.
I think they used to do like they would play at noon and play to like 4 p.m. and then take the ferry back over and go play Wildwood, North Wildwood that night.
Oh, absolutely. That's definitely a move they did.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Let's just roll our gear onto the ferry.
I had
Heads up, guys.
I had a gig in AC like 12 to 4, and I had to play in Ocean City, Maryland by like 9 or something. So I got to the rough seas. Didn't see that one coming. I get there, and I have just enough time to get there. There's rough seas. I'm like, what? I didn't even like put this in. Canceled the ferry. So I had to drive all the way down and like back around the Walt Whitman and then boom down. I just made it. But yeah, that ferry, like, yeah, but it can get you too.
Rough seas.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Interestingly enough, that's what the police refer to me and my crew as when we're out on the town. Rough seas. Collingdale, what's up? Yo, shout out Collingdale.
Yeah, but man,
I like the way this. I like the way our new studio looks. I'm just checking out the screen now.
Oh yeah, we got the flag and everything. I didn't notice that last time.
Yeah, it's a call to action, brother. Patriots only. Read between the lines.
Well, no, I see some yellow, so that means it's rainbow.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's not that hard ass.
Yeah. It's just ruggedly accepting of everyone.
Yes. And
graciously and patriotically,
very
enthusiastically loving everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, dude, like going back into that music that I hadn't heard in so long, and just being like, everything was so good at that time that stuff like this just flew by the wayside and under the radar.
Yeah.
As fucking good as it was just unbelievable.
A band like
so much fun just to listen.
For instance, a band like Cake. If they came out there, I'd be like, this is the best band I've heard. Like, stop everything and listen to this. They were just another band that only did one album because they were just their music was just oversaturated with good stuff. They were catchy, they were everything, but they just weren't. I guess they didn't have that, appeal to the kids or anything. They did one, boom, gone. Today
they had like 5 albums,
did they
5
really?
or 6.
I thought they had
the one. They had the one huge hit with like The Distance and stuff, like Fashion Nugget or whatever. Then like in 2001, they kind of bubbled back up with Long Skirt or Short Skirt, Long Jacket or something like that.
Wow, so you're a fan,
dude? Yeah. I went with Cake Phase 6-7 years ago. I put the whole catalog on shuffle. Yeah, I know. Look at this stomach that hangs over my ass. I got 2 of them. I got 4 of them.
Have you ever gotten an ice cream cake for yourself, no birthday, I've done that a few times at the Giant Carvel. They have these little ones. I would go and like get one and just keep it in my freezer.
That's deadly, dude. There's nothing like those chocolate crunchies.
Oh, that's the Carvel, yeah.
The chocolate crunchie is such a nice sensation. And I also like how the icing isn't quite icing, isn't quite ice cream.
Yeah.
It's some kind of mystery gelatinous shit. It's not even... It's not even... hold on. It's not even that cold. It's just like somewhere in between, temperature-wise even. Oh, you're the man. It's just the best sensation.
Yeah.
The ice cream cake.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, dude. No, but I can't say I've bought myself an ice cream cake before. Yeah, I wish I could.
Just gave me an idea for the week, but
yeah, I mean, dude, check in with me next week. I'll offer that up. I'm sure by Thursday I'll have done it. Yeah. In the afternoon. Mid-afternoon, not even like late night.
Are you still like you're a lead guitar player? Are you
I wouldn't
still
call myself that.
Well, you've learned how to play lead, yeah. What guitar kind of are you listening to guitar music at all, or is it still very melody driven? Like,
dude, I'm glad you brought this up. Yeah, and I promised that we didn't talk about this before, but I was gonna say. I got Sirius satellite radio. No big deal. I got Sirius satellite radio in my car,
right?
And listened to like a lot of Beatles, Fish, like Grateful Dead, like stuff that I already kind of was into.
Right.
I kind of zeroed in,
right.
But I just discovered Little Steven's Underground Garage channel.
Huge, yeah.
And I've been listening to it for a week straight.
Yeah.
Now before, when I've given it a shot,
it's been too.
I've always wanted
Southside
more melody
Johnny or something.
Yeah, it's been just too garage rock, aka just banging on an electric guitar that sounds dirty.
And here comes a horn.
There's no real songwriting.
Right,
it's just I'm supposed to appreciate how angsty it is and whatever,
Bruce's buddy,
and give it a pass. Right. But dude, it's fucking awesome. It's maximum rock and soul, and it's not Little Steven's music. He sprinkles it in once in a while. But I've heard more great music that I've never heard before.
Yeah,
and I get it, and it's not, the songs aren't as bad as I remember.
Okay,
they're not complex.
Yeah,
but like there's something there, but dude, I've just been enjoying it immensely this whole week.
He's a great fan of music. Like Little Steven, like his he's a talented, guitar player. But his real gift is some of the stuff he finds on the
whole
underground
lineup
radio.
of DJs on that channel was awesome. Drew Carey does a show from Prices. Shout out Drew Carey. Drew Carey does a show on Friday nights. Called Drew Carey's Friday Night Freakout, and he's super enthusiastic about it.
I was told,
here's this band from from Seattle that man, they're great live. You should really check them out. They're great live. But blah blah blah.
Yeah,
the Khakis, like a fucking random band that like I've never heard of.
Right.
And Drew's talking about how he loves this band.
That's awesome.
And then
people are still
is
digging
shit.
out there. Yeah.
Yeah, and if it's a band you heard of before, like Stones or something,
Yeah.
it's a super deep cut. But like the music is good. It's not just. It's good because it's obscure. Like I've never had an appreciation for that type of music until just recently.
He's the worst
awesome.
celebrity doppelganger I've ever gotten. A few people, over your life say you look like this.
Yeah,
Drew Carey's the worst
Antonio
I got.
Banderas all the time. Antonio Banderas.
But when I got Drew Carey, I'm like, really? I'm like, come on. I probably look just like him. But it was when I would wear glasses like yours, and I'm thinking they look nice. They're like, you look like Drew Carey. Great. Thanks.
Yeah, I just get Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
Not Drew Carey. These aren't Drew Carey glasses.
Well, they're frames, I guess.
No eye for glasses style, Mike. All glasses don't look the same. These are elegant and understated.
Yeah, I guess. I guess. But yeah.
But yeah, dude, so I'm listening to more guitar-oriented music, which is like odd, which is not usually what I go for.
Like, yeah.
And I've been playing my electric guitar a lot more.
Okay.
Like just trying to get different with that because it's strung the same way. It's not the same instrument.
Absolutely
And it's
not.
fun to try to like dip back and forth sometime, but I've been working on that.
Riffs are tough, to kind of like, that's why, like Keith Richards, who I would say I play guitar, but that's a whole nother, like, there's certain people that are riff guitar players, and there's other people that's such a foreign concept they couldn't even do it. They're like, what do you do? But like to be able to write a riff and a song around that's pretty amazing. It's something that like my mind can't do. And I know like a couple years ago we kind of talked about like, yeah, we should try to do that, like challenge ourselves to write a riff type song. It's just it's kind of getting a little complex for the listener that might not know what that is. But yeah, hard rock has that kind of basis to a song where it's based around a riff.
Yeah, and I was experimenting with that stuff a few years ago. Our intro music,
right? Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yeah, it was a file on my computer called the riff, amongst other files. And I listened back. I was like, this is kind of cool. We didn't overthink it. We're like, yeah, good enough. But I mean, that's an example of me trying to play with that. I think the BT3 might be making its debut this fall or winter.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that'll be one. Just I'm not going to go into it, but keep an eye out for the BT3.
That me, you, and Brian Timlin, right? Yeah. We'll find a date for that at some point this fall. I'm gonna actually this October. They're doing a hold on. All right. They're doing the Last Waltz, like a recreation of the Last Waltz. Oh man. Whew. I guess
BT3?
No, not the BT3.
Great band
at the Met. Like Philadelphia artists, they're going to get together and do they've done that before a few times, but I'm gonna go to that.
That's a great venue.
It's in November, actually.
That's a nice time of year to go to a venue like that.
Yeah,
beautiful. I saw Steely Dan there at the Met with Cooey. Shout out Cooey.
Yeah,
beautiful room. That's the only time I've ever been there. Have you been there before?
Never. No. It's only been open for 2-3 years, right? Like right before COVID. It'll be my first time. I assume it's like a TLA-ish kind of like theater type look?
No, because the TLA is like a pit. It's like standing room and whatever. This is like...
Not TLA, I'm sorry, the Tower. It's more Tower kind of theater? Okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of idea. Different, not the same vibe, but yes.
Yeah.
Similar thing, like a seated class.
Kind of thing. Yeah, that's cool.
Beautiful ornamentation.
Yes,
like it's awesome.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
You're kidding,
$19
really?
sellers. Oh yeah, dude.
$19.
That's everywhere now.
Sheesh.
Yeah, they're big boys, but still. Come on.
All right, 25. That's like the Sixers games. Have you ever been down there? They serve you the 24-ounce one, but like they're $15, $16. And at the Wachovia Center, whatever they call it now, the center, you can barely fit into those seats.
Yeah.
Oh man, like I'm spilling out of that thing. If anybody's just a little bit fatter than me, you have no shot because I just get into them.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody does it, you know.
I saw a couple. Yeah, likewise. I saw a couple games last year.
Yeah, like,
by the second quarter, I'm finding a bar in the concourse, a bar stool there, and that's better for me.
So there was just a concert just recently. Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam was here last weekend, and I heard nothing about it. And then like I just see that they're here. I'm like, holy shit! I had some of the best concerts, growing up. The Y100 era, like we talked about, Dave Matthews and Pearl Jam, they were it. Yeah. They were like, when they came around, it was an event. You'd see, like, not only was it a great party in your boys in the parking lot, it was a great show. And I knew nothing about it. I was like, oh shit. And, I saw some people went. I'm like, damn, I wish the going to a concert still had that same thing. You have to go.
With YouTube, it's so different because there was a time where, like, if you wanted to see a band live, you had to see the band live, and the anticipation: are they going to be good? Are they not going to be good? Then you see a band that's great live. They're great live.
Yeah.
Now, like, you just see anything you want. Oh, fucking Radiohead at Royal Albert Hall in 4K.
You just go see it.
Click.
Yeah. It's like you're there.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Roxy Music was just at the Man this week too. They've always been a great. I love them, man.
You produced some records for them.
Brian Ferry, myself,
yeah.
But Pierre Robert was interviewing them, and I was like, shit, man, that was a concert that me and my uncle would have definitely went to 15 years ago. Called him up, and he's like, nah, man, nobody wanted to go. Nobody goes to concerts. I was like, fuck. But that's such a cool style, too. That's like, it's like Talking Heads were the American version of that, but that was like the more European kind of sexy dance vibe where cocaine was just delicious.
Yeah.
And it wasn't dangerous. Like, you could be a doctor or a lawyer and you indulged yourself. It wasn't like this dirty
was
thing.
Always bumps. Yeah, it wasn't stigmatized.
Exactly.
It was just a night out.
Yeah, exactly.
with your beers.
Yeah.
Sip some beers, do some bumps. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Not much has changed.
Then back to the office. So, but I saw they came. But music. It's funny. I go down deep dives, but as far as that era, like we talked that 90s, 2000, like that. I guess not grunge, but like pop alternative. Alternative. It was just great songs like Stone Temple Pilots, Smashing Pumpkins.
You could pick any album from those bands you just mentioned.
Yes,
STP, Pumpkins, whatever, and it's going to be awesome.
Awesome,
like no doubt. Like Tragic Kingdom. Mm-hmm. I didn't listen to that at the time, besides its radio hits. Yeah. But I was like, I'll give the whole album a spin on my way to work, whatever. And
Sunday morning.
Awesome.
Yeah, those great songs.
Great shit. Weezer was dropping classic albums like
one after another. Yeah.
I mean, to bring up Radiohead again, the Bandz.
Yeah.
And then OK Computer, like just unreal.
And I don't, try not to sound like a curmudgeon, but I don't think that's how, it's not. There's no central place anymore. Growing up in Philadelphia, in the area around here, there was that central place to hear that stuff, and the kind of like the festival where you'd see some of those new bands like Fuel and Rusted Root and stuff like that. But there isn't that central, and I guess that's a good thing because you can just get anything you want. But some people need that kind of that central spot to pluck from.
Yeah,
or else they're listening to like Drake, which Drake's fine. I'm sure there's a time and place, but it's not all that's out there. There's, there's special music out there that, you don't have to be listening to this like kind of drone kind of like rap. And I love hip hop and rap, but like there's hops in, there's like there's really good hip hop out there where it's not the stuff on, the radio.
You turned me on to some underground stuff. Shout out OT the Real.
OT the Real. Yeah. I mean,
your finger's always on the pulse, Mike.
My finger's definitely on the pulse of, I was big into the Philly kind of thing. AR-Ab. I don't want to get attacked by his crew, but I was more into his kind of like the image on Instagram. Like he would just put out like a $500,000 and wonder why he got arrested by the cops. Like like you can't just put all that money. Like I have it here. They're like what? We're gonna come bust you now. But I didn't think he was that great. But OT the Real's the real deal.
Yeah,
I was on him like 3-4 years ago, and now he's popping off Barstool and all that. So.
Yeah, he did a show at Dobbs not too long ago. Like we're talking about concerts and stuff. I think the smaller, like Ardmore Music Hall. Like I don't know what I'm going to see there this fall, but I'm going to see a couple things. Yeah. Because you just look at their schedule, find either it's a band you already love, or it's somebody that you kind of like, but it's such an intimate atmosphere.
Right.
Like it's a $25 ticket and you'll be 5 feet from the stage.
Right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like, it doesn't have to be Pearl Jam or Bruce Springsteen coming through town. It could be the band that you kind of knew about and just took a chance on at Ardmore Music Hall. Shout out Ardmore Music Hall.
Yeah.
And you'll have an unbelievable night. Like I saw Steve Kimmock last November there. And he was a guy that I wasn't intimately familiar with, but I knew he was a jam guitarist, and I just wanted to check out the show.
And it was awesome.
And it was unbelievable.
Wow, that's cool.
Unbelievable.
To find those gems,
yeah. Like I would go see him anytime he came through town again.
Did you guys go over there on Wednesday night to see Splintered Sunlight?
No, but I see that they're there often.
I'm not a Dead fan at all, but like just the jamming they did, like Fish. They could. I saw them one time play Enter Sandman for 33 minutes, but they just started doing different riffs of it. It was amazing. Like,
really?
And again, Wednesday nights when you had $1 beers also helped.
Yeah, exactly.
There's still a banner at Ardmore Music Hall, and it says Splintered Sunlight. However many sellout shows that they had, but like it's like 1,000.
Wow.
I mean, like they were just the band, and they're still so good.
Yeah.
I've seen them a few times. I didn't catch those Wednesday nights there. I'm not sure what time frame that was. But I wasn't there. I don't think it was
9 to
so
1.
much.
And again, I mean, I'm a little bit older than you guys, so I started at 21. So you guys were probably like 4.
Well, that was the heyday. Like with Tommy's, like kind of like that 20. That's when it was new. Like Mr. Green Jeans, those kind of like it was every club in like the tri-state area was mobbed, and it was like penny drinks or quarter drinks, whatever like that. That was the heyday.
Yeah. And then consistently
Maui, before DUIs were invented.
And then when DUIs came, and then consistently,
no, that was considered a challenge back then when the DUIs were
challenge. Yeah,
smokes were $1 a pack.
Yeah, and then consistently, it kind of, and then the last 10 years, if you notice, like those cover bands, there's 5 at the top, and that's it. And then there's no really place to play. Around it, they have to travel far to get a gig. There's no like RP McMurphy's or any of those places around where where you can guarantee all the college kids and 21-year-old kids. I don't know what they're doing.
All the that Sprite Liquid mix tour.
Yeah,
I was on stage with Pharrell that one time.
Yeah, that's right. You told me that. You got backstage.
Yeah,
just walked by. How'd you get backstage?
Did I tell you this story?
No, never.
We never touched on this.
No,
not here. It was the Sprite Liquid mix tour. So it was like 2004, and it was a package deal. So it was Pharrell was the headliner, his band NERD, The Roots, OAR, Talib Kweli, and Robert Randolph, the pedal steel player.
Yeah. Yep.
And the trucker hats, like the snapback trucker hats, were in style, like the Von Dutch type shit. Were in style at the time. So everyone that went into the concert got this commemorative Sprite Liquid Mix trucker hat.
Right.
So I'm in the concourse and I see Black Thought from The Roots, and he kind of weaves through the crowd.
Like, yo, what's up, Hef?
Yeah. He's like, oh shit, that's Hef Dog. And I see him weave through the crowd, and he goes up to this elderly looking security guard that's sitting in a chair in front of a non-marked door, says something, he goes back, and I go, fuck, that's backstage. So I throw my hat on like this, which was like how like Pharrell was wearing it at the time. Like it was like the style. And I just did this, and I just was like, I'm going to fake it till I make it.
Yeah.
And I went up to the guard, and I just tried to walk by him.
Yeah.
He goes, who are you? And I go, dude, I'm Hef Dog from Thug Folk. Excuse me. He's like, I was just banking on there being so many bands and so many moving parts that if I was confident,
I forgot.
Yeah, he'd be like, whatever. He's like, well, I need your credentials. I can't just let you back. And the door was actually open.
Yeah.
Propped open. And then he goes, I can't. Then some big black dudes come up, and same thing. They're like, hey, and he's like, sorry guys, who are you? They're like, we're with Talib Kweli.
Yeah.
And he's like, guys, if you don't have these credentials, I can't let. And as he's telling us this, a dude just runs by him, and he looks at us, and he walks away, and he has to go. He just looks at us and shrugs like, "You got it." He goes down the hallway. He gets the guy, and as he's walking him back, these dudes look down at me. I look up at them. We just walk down the hallway, and as he's ushering this guy back to the concourse,
he leaves you guys alone.
He gives us the look like, "Well played, boys. You're in." Let's hope you were telling the truth.
Yeah.
So get back there. I turn the corner, and it is The Roots. And like some of the OAR guys.
Yeah.
And I lean up against the wall, and I'm just pretending like I belong. And they're kind of lined in, and they're not like, whatever. They probably think I'm an OAR dude as well. And I end up standing next to Talib Kweli, and he looks at me and he goes, you got trees? And I felt like the guy in Days Confused. I was like, not on me. No, probably the one.
Yeah, the one thing. That,
the one time ever.
Yeah.
And so whatever. So chilling. I go to the bathroom and I walk down the hall and I make a right. And as I make a right, I hear music coming from beyond a curtain. At the time, I think, oh, that must be the main backstage where the real party is, like the VIP room. I take a leak, and as I come back, I push the curtain aside, and I'm actually on side stage now in Camden.
Wow.
It was the E Center at the time.
Yeah.
So I'm standing there, and I'm whatever. And then one of the rap dudes from one of the other bands turns and shoves me.
No shit.
And he goes, yo, did you just piss on my leg? Did you just piss on my fucking leg? And some other dudes come up, and it starts, and security comes up. I'm like, no, dude, I didn't. He's like, you fucking pissed on my leg. I'm pretty sure I didn't. I'm almost positive I didn't, but I might have. And, the security guards come up, and they're like, what the fuck's going on? They're like, yo, he pissed on me. I definitely didn't.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, who are you? And I'm like, I'm Hef Dog from Thug Folk. They're like, look, we can't have these problems here, guys. If you guys need to be separated, you go there and you guys stay there, but just you guys got to get along.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no problem. But I was confident with it. So they let me remain there.
Nice.
So it's final act. Pharrell and NERD is up on stage. And they had a record label called Star Trek, like a play on Star Trek. And I think they kind of did like the Vulcan, like they had some kind of symbol.
Yeah.
So I'm really pushing my luck at this point. I'm side stage, and my hat's cocked to the side, and I'm fully emotionally invested. I'm method acting at this point. I walk out onto the stage, and I just put the symbol up, and I just start walking around in the background, just thugged out like the other dudes were, like just for atmosphere, just posse.
Yeah.
And I'm just there, and Pharrell kind of looks back, and the vibe is, oh, cool. One of the OAR dudes is just showing love to us on tour.
Yeah.
We're like one family on tour. Didn't say it, but like that was
but it gives you a
no
look
one
like cool.
tackles me.
Yeah.
No one brings me off stage. It looked like one of the OAR dudes is just showing some solidarity. And then it's the end of the song.
Yeah.
Pharrell goes, yo, turn the lights on. Turn the lights on. They turn the lights on. Now I'm on stage, and I've got the vantage point of a sold out or pretty full
It just opens up. Yeah,
dude, unreal. And he turns to everyone on the side stage. He goes, we've been having a great time on this tour. I'm going to ask everyone to come out, join me for this last. And as he's saying that and gesturing to everyone to come out, I'm over his left shoulder. I now come out and throw my arm around him.
Yeah.
He looks at me and throws his arm around me, and everyone crowds around us and me and Pharrell. And it's like the Roots, and it's like I'm like the imposter.
Yeah.
I'm on stage, but I'm arm in arm with
you're Hef Dog
Pharrell.
from Thug Folk.
Exactly.
Yes.
And we're bouncing and whatever. And I forget what year it was, but phones weren't great. So there's no video, there's no pictures of it. But I got a ton of texts. What the fuck are you doing?
That's insane.
How
That's
are you on stage?
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude. And then after the con, I just kind of wandered off and made my way back to the parking lot out back where the tour buses were. I didn't try to go on a bus. I just rolled. But dude, I made it up on stage.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
dude. Somehow make it back to the bus to drop you back off at like Bonner.
Yeah. So who's got the weed?
That's incredible, man. That's I used to love going there. That was the seeing it was always a big difference between seeing a show in the lawn and the seats stuff. But you had to do the lawn because it was fun with your boys. But I would say Springsteen was my favorite concert of all time. But I've seen a lot of good ones, but that was religious,
Another one for me, UB40 at the Trocadero.
UB40?
Like 5 years ago.
No shit.
UB40, Labor of Love was the first cassette tape that I owned. My cool older cousin, Sean, gave it to me for like my 7th or 8th birthday.
Yeah.
And love reggae music to this day. And I've tried to see UB40 a couple times, always solo too. I'm not going to ask anyone if they want to go. I know no one does, and I don't want to try to explain why they should be having fun. I just want to zone,
do it yourself,
and enjoy the vibe. I went down to AC one time and they canceled it last minute.
Yeah.
So they rescheduled it, whatever. I saw them at the Trocadero. It was so undersold. There was probably 125 people there. It was almost empty.
Wow.
But it was like religious to me. It was songs I always wanted to hear live, vibing by myself. It ruled, dude.
Man. Going to see live, that's what we, let's make a pact. Hoagie time. This fall, we're going to go see a show together. All right?
Yeah, dude,
All
totally.
right, good. Thanks for listening, guys. Let's go Eagles.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, and
go Eagles. We're gonna try some stuff in the next couple weeks. I'm sorry. Oh,
So was yours. HT,
Yeah.
Yeah,
really?
Last week, you didn't say a word about it. It was like your birthday the next day. You're such an unassuming cat, man. Happy
Shade
birthday,
ball.
HT, man.
Something in that
Yes,
Blunston
exactly.
Avenue where happy birthday, HT. Happy birthday, Shakes Benad.
Yeah, man.
The man. But yeah, we look forward to the next couple weeks. We're going to be trying some things remotely, see what this whole board can do.
Yeah.
We appreciate all your support. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends. Reach out to us at Hoagietimepodcast at Gmail. Check us out on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, Facebook. The list goes on and on.
On and on. But we'll see you guys soon. Thank you very much.
That's it.